Hey, hey, hey. Hey guys, it's Friday night, and you know what happens on Fridays? We do a sunset session. That's what Fridays are about. And we are back over here on the Hudson River in New York City, New York State, one of the great states of the United States. The Empire State. That's what the building's named after, not the state named after the building. The motto of our great state, Excelsior, always rising. So if you're able to see this, and if I'm actually on Facebook and YouTube, you let me know. Let me know. Hi there. Back on YouTube. Fantastico. I'm back, and we've got some cloud cover, but we also have a bit of sun that looks like it's trying to push its way through over here. As we look across right now, we're staring over into Hoboken, New Jersey. Puts us further north than we were last time. We're around 22nd, 23rd Street, and we're looking at Pier 64, which is what we're going to walk across. Oh, Jill, gosh, I'm so happy to see you, Jill. Thanks for reaching out. You missed our broadcast earlier on today, and I was talking about you because it's time, Jill, it's time. It's time for the Western journey, and I got to reach out to you over direct messages for advice for Tombstone, Tucson, and Phoenix, because they're happening next week. So, Joe, great to see you, and yeah, we'll follow up after this live stream. Diana Pombo, good to see you as well. What you guys are looking at right now is my smiling face, but what you're looking at from the other side of the screen is Pier 64, and Pier 64, it's actually kind of a special pier. I don't know if you guys can notice this, but if you see it here, let me see if I just pan back in this direction. Do you notice how the pier kind of slopes up? Almost like a skier's luge. See how it kind of gains elevation by the end? That's not accidental. That's not because the water is uneven. That is so that way when you walk out onto the end of that pier, you get a great elevated view north and south up the Hudson River. So we are going to walk out that way in a short bit of time, and we're going to catch that sunset, which officially, let's go to the clock. Let's go to the weather app. I believe 8:27 is when we should have sunset. So we've got 20 minutes together right now before we are going to call it a sunset. But before we walk out on to Pier 64, let me just zoom you guys around real quick. And some of you will recall some of these buildings from our High Line visit not too long ago when we walked up the High Line. Me, a novice High Line guide, just giving it my first High Line go. And we've got a couple of really cool and interesting buildings here. Now, first and foremost, my favorite one up here in the front, this building, which was built back in the 20s, it was connected along the 10th Avenue, zero grade train line. This is pre-High Line, before you had the elevated platform there, right? You had it just kind of a zero grade right on the street, as if you were on a bike or a car or a train track. It was all the same. And this building would allow trains to be able to kind of zoom in and out down towards the base of it. And it had a space that you could actually take the train directly into the building itself. But it also has these absolutely gorgeous kind of Art Deco features where you have a receding floors, kind of reset roofs, roofing inside of it, and these rounded edges. It's really absolutely gorgeous. Hey, Palmyra, good to see you again. Thanks for coming back again. It's always a pleasure to see you. And then behind this building from the 20s, you have these skyscrapers up here, and these are all, here are all part of Hudson Yard. So these are relatively new buildings up around the, Hudson Yard area around the 30s. And they are absolutely modern and wonderful and expensive. Largely empty. Not a lot of lights on up there because not a lot of people in their offices in New York in general, but not just beyond that, in fact. You have a further question, which is why pay a lot for office space if people can remote work? So, c'est Blanche. Bonsoir, bonsoiré, c'est Blanche. Yeah, Rebecca, it's interesting, right? The weird weather mix. So, what else do we have as we spin around really quick? Oh, wait, sorry, there's one more thing to show you guys up here. I didn't even show you. I wanted to show you New York's famous new viewing platform. Hey, Lizette Velasquez, good to see you. Welcome back, it's been a little while. So what we see up here is what's called the Edge, New York's Edge. And that viewing platform that you can see up there on the top of this building, these incredible views over Manhattan, Island of Rolling Hills. It will cost you $34 if you'd like to go up there. Now, if you're a New York City resident, it's only $32. But if you want to go up there right now during sunset, which all those people up there are up there watching, it's an extra $10. So 32 plus 10, 42, or $44, depending upon whether you're a local resident or you're not from the great Big Apple, depending one way or the other. Those people all paid right now over $40 to be up there. So how about that, guys? And you know what they're waiting to see? They're waiting to see dun 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 dun, pan around to the left and to the Hudson River, and they're waiting to see that, the sunset. Well, you know what? It's time for us to walk over there too, because we don't want to miss that sunset. So let's head over. Hey guys, how's it going? All right, so over here, what we have, oh, aloha, Jim. Thank you for the pineapples, world-renowned symbol of welcome and hospitality. Very grateful for that. And we are heading to the sunset. That's right, Rebecca. That's right, Diana. Sunset it is. We're going past a small park right here, and we're walking along a little inset of the Hudson River. Hudson River, it's no small river. It's over 300 miles long. It's a long, long river. And it's a river, but it's also a tidal estuary. And believe it or not, because of look, there's a wave coming in right here. That's not from like natural waving, that's because of wake, almost certainly from one of the very many ferry boats that are traveling up and down this river. Something that's been happening for a very long time, in fact. In fact, it's been happening as far back as 1609, when an Englishman named Henry Hudson, sponsored by the Dutch, East India Trading Company, was sent over in this part of New Netherland, the new Dutch colony that was being formed, and was searching for the Great Northeast Passage so he could find a way up. And he's the same guy that had to do with Hudson Bay. So, same Hudson. Although I think that he ended not in a great way in Hudson Bay. I'm pretty sure that he was mutinied in the end. Poor Henry Hudson. Anyway, this river was around a lot longer than Henry Hudson was, in fact, because it had been here as part of glacial leftovers. This great Michigan glacier that had receded had left an area of water which was actually deeper than the bay that it flows out into. So the river flows all the way from up there, all the way north, 300 miles, and it flows all the way down. And this area is deeper, actually, than New York Harbor is down this way, which creates some pretty interesting tidal effects. So much so that actually you have a tide that's felt all the way north to Troy. And Troy's 130 plus miles away from us right now. So it goes way, way up there. Oh, here we go. We've got a little bit of Pierage here. Yes, Jim, good shout out with the lightship. We're gonna tell a little bit of story about the lightship frying pan in just a little bit, but to show you again kind of what New York's sun is setting on. Now, we've already talked about this great old industrial building here. We've talked a little bit about buildings over here, but we haven't yet go to King Kong's favorite, none other than ESB, Empire State Building over there, guys. For a long time, the tallest building in New York. For a while, in fact, when it was first built, the real concern was that people were not renting office space in there. Funny how things come round in twos in New York, because today, once again, there's an issue with renting office space. It was such an issue for the Empire State Building that its nickname became the Empty State Building, the ESB Empty State Building. And the owners of the building would go through and actually turn on and turn off the lights throughout the building to make it look like it was actually occupied. Now, the problem that it was facing was that Empire State Building was opening up just around the time of the Great Depression. So, but still it picked up and eventually was this amazing Art Deco building filled out and didn't have an issue with renting its space. I wonder today how that's going. Pulling out as well. Well, thank you, Empire State Building, for helping us. Oh, and we gotta head over past the frying pan. So, frying pan, as Jim pointed out, is a lightship, and it actually had a pretty cool story, pretty cool history. It was built in 1929, and it guarded its namesake, the Frying Pan Shoals, just about 30 miles away from Cape Fear, North Carolina, from 1930 all the way until 1965. And the whole idea was that this ship would head out into the ocean and burn that light bright and bold, so that way incoming ships would, see that it was there and not crash into these shoals. So basically, you're talking about a lighthouse on the water, and the crews would be stationed aboard for as many as 3 months, and they'd have 2 months shore leave, and then be back out again on that frying pan. It was said the job was, quote, filled with months of boredom, followed by minutes of pure fear. So, oh my goodness. Let's look at some sunset. Now, we've got a lot of cloud over here, but I can see the sun is desperately trying to poke through. There's all by me. This is like a music video. Going on. Interesting. You never know. Yeah, Jim. Well, Rebecca, yes, always challenging to keep lights on. Jim, totally lots of card games. I actually saw a really cool picture recently, which was newly released photos from the German front during World War II. And it was pictures of Germans in the trenches playing Scott, which is kind of like, I always figure it's sort of like the German equivalent of euchre, or somewhere between. Hold a second, this is kind of funny. You guys have to, like, there's a sunset here, but. Oh no, they just stopped dancing. There was some Massive dancing going on over here. They got to the chorus and they were busting it out. All right, anyway. Diana, thank you for that sweet compliment. I do try to learn things and remember them if I can, and try to share them with you guys as we go. So, yeah. We've got a lot of content coming up in the week to come. So, between San Antonio and Marfa, Texas, Tombstone, Arizona, Tucson, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, Las Vegas, Nevada, and all the amazing things in between it. So lots to come up with. And every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so 5 p.m. on the West Coast, and some ungodly hour if you're Michaela in Cologne, waiting for a sunset. We will be doing weekly a sunset visit wherever I happen to be, or where someone else is that day. You know, I mean, so that's the point, is that sunset might not be at 8 o'clock. It could be at a different time, depending upon when sunset is there. So we're looking up the Hudson River, looking north towards where it eventually connects, of course, with none other than the Erie Canal and lots of other canals, actually. Once the Erie Canal was built, it incentivizes tons of other canal building, like the Lake Champlain, other connectivity, because, you know, you have this major water artery now. And if you want to connect to either Chicago or London or New York or the rest of it, you could go through this Hudson River. So connect to it is the thought, all the way through the late 1800s, through the early, well, let's say mid 1900s. And then it changes, because Eisenhower and the highway system, the 50s and the 60s throughout the US, diminishes the importance of New York City. And this once great industrial capital and harbor, importing and exporting, just becomes increasingly less important. And then, of course, by the 60s and the 70s, New York is really suffering. By the 80s, you know, it has a turnaround boom, but this is the story of New York, right? Yeah, Jim. Sunsets and golden hours indeed, my friend. It's all about. What do I have here? Well, what are we looking at? Let's talk. So what we see directly across from us, where the sunset is kind of happening over here, we're looking at Hoboken. And, you know, it's New Jersey. Frank Sinatra's hometown, right over here. And we could sing some Frank together. Fly me to the moon so I can play amongst the stars. But we also have another option of singing over here, because, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit for you guys. Well, you can actually almost see over here where these two lights are shining. Can you guys see these two lights right here? 1, 2 lights. Those two lights right there are, that's Weehawken over there, right? So it could be the Clam Broth House. Jim. But it's also Weehawken over there, just north of this basin there, where you would offload and onload onto like bigger ships after you're transporting goods up and down the Hudson. But Weehawken, and the reason why we got a love on the Weehawken, right? Again, looking like over here, is because we had some pretty famous dueling going on over in Weehawken, fellas and ladies. It's where we lost Philip Hamilton, Alexander Hamilton's son, and he was over there dueling with a guy by the name of George Eaker. Did not go well for young Philip. At the age of 19, he lost his life over there in Weehawken. And why in Weehawken and not in New York? Because it was illegal to duel in New York already by that point, by good old 1801. They'd already outlawed it here, but in New Jersey, half a step behind, it was still legal for you to duel. So Philip Hamilton had gone over there, and of course it's quite prophetic, because because Philip was not the last Hamilton to unfortunately pass on the banks of the Hudson and die in Weehawken, or at least be mortally wounded in Weehawken. You also had Alexander Hamilton himself, who, along with the Vice President of the United States, Aaron Burr, who's actually second cousins, we recently saw where they were buried over in Greenwood Cemetery. But on the morning of July 11th, 1804, Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton, two of the three leading New York politicians. I'm going to give extra credit points to anyone who can tell me who the third leading New York politician was. And I will give you an extra free hint and say that he was heavily involved, and we can thank him for, the Erie Canal. He's also buried or reburied at the Greenwood Cemetery. So Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr, there was a third in this trifecta, this holy trinity of great New York politicians from the end of the 1700s, beginning of the 1800s. I need to name people. I want to know in the chat who was the third politician. But I'll wait for that to come in because you're probably Googling it right now. So who are the other two? Of course, Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton. Unfortunately, as the story goes, Alexander Hamilton is killed by Aaron Burr during this duel. And that means that Alexander Hamilton, of course, is out of the picture. He's no longer able to continue his great mission of serving the United States, the early states that he'd fought so hard to help create. And then you've got Aaron Burr. And Aaron Burr's political career basically ends at this point. He finishes up his time as vice president. I think that was like by 1806. I'm not exactly sure, but his vice presidency runs out, and after that he moves out west. I think it was like Iowa, Missouri. No, it was Missouri. I think he moves to, and he works as a lawyer there for a while until kind of returning back to New York and wrapping up here. Maybe he dies out there and then get brought back. I think he actually finally dies, retires back in New York. So Weehawken, guys, dangerous place back in 1801. Didn't want to find yourself over there in 1804. You might get challenged to a duel. And guys, because you haven't said it, I'm going to tell you anyway, because it's our good buddy Clinton. Not Bill, not Hillary. We're talking about DeWitt Clinton. No relation to the other Clintons, by the way, no relation whatsoever. But DeWitt Clinton, he is the man behind the plan for the Erie Canal, which, makes New York so important. So let's be grateful. I can't tell you, have you guys been listening to this song the entire time behind me, just like I have? They're back to their good old DeWitt, right, Jim? These folks are loving it. It's a music video, somehow. I'm not sure. Maybe it's like a student music video. I don't want to disparage anyone. I'm very happy for those folks. We're getting a little bit of cloud, a little bit of beauty down there. I think that the name of the song was Reggae Diletti, Reggae Chilate, Reggae Malete. I gotta be honest, I didn't really hear. Should we interview them? No, come on, we want the sunset. We don't want to interview those folks. Do we want to interview those people? We could interview them if you guys really want to. I think it's possible. Yes. So I learned something interesting, which I wanted to share with you guys. Usually my mom is watching right now. She's not on. But if she was, what I would say to her is that it turns out that when the Dutch settle along in New Netherlands, they settle 3 big cities. Jim, we catch up then over das Wochenende, oder die Wochenende, ehrlich gesagt. It's Die Wochenende. But you know what? German articles are so hard. My favorite joke about German articles has got to be the Simpsons episode, Jim. And then you can go. The Simpsons episode where they've got Sideshow Bob, right? And Sideshow Bob is in the mental institution, and they're like, Bob, don't you want to kill Bart Simpson? Like, I don't think you're not safe to be released to society. And he's like, no, it's not true. I love Bart Simpson. And they make him lift his shirt up, and it says, "Die, Bart, die" on it. And he goes, what? It's German. The Bart, the. D Bart, D. No, it wasn't. Bye, Jim. Take care. Talk to you later. And the sunset is back there. The Dutch, right? We were talking about those guys. Not the Deutsch, but the Dutch. And they established 3 main cities on this gorgeous river here. One of them is the one that we're standing in right now, New York, named after the Duke of York. After, in 1664, the Dutch, not the Dutch, but let's say Peter Stuyvesant, the governor of New Amsterdam, hands over New Amsterdam to the British, who had sailed 3 men of war into New York Harbor. The Dutch had no ships or anything. They did not have a huge choice in it. So he hands it over. And it's only been 40 years at that point the Dutch even had New Amsterdam, and Peter Stuyvesant's only been there for 20 years of it. But the Dutch have also managed to not just have New Amsterdam, they also have Wildwijk and Fort Orange. And today, Fort Orange is called Albany, capital of New York State. And Wildwijk is actually Kingston, New York. And Kingston, New York is where my mom currently lives with my grandmother. My 69-year-old mom with my 95-year-old grandmother. So, pretty cool. I mean, I just feel like do you guys feel it? You guys are missing the dance party, but you're catching the sunset.
Yeah, it's our music video. We're filming a music video.
Oh, very cool.
I'm one of the singers.
That's awesome. We've been enjoying it. We're doing a live stream with some friends from Europe and all around the U.S. and Canada and lots of different places. We've really been enjoying your guys' music, and thank you for.
No, it's it's called the Vibe Catchers, and I was born with cerebral palsy, and I'm visually impaired. And that guy in the track suit, that's my brother and bandmate.
Very cool.
Not real brother, but.
Let's get you over here one more time.
Brother from another mother.
Oh, I can dance for him. Yay.
You guys are doing an awesome job. We're just happy to be part of it. Thank you. Have fun. She's one of the singers. She's one of the.
Stay where you're at. Just dance around.
So incredible woman, incredible vibe. Has cerebral palsy and is visually impaired, and is just full on attitude and power and energy and just going for it. And I just people like this inspire me so much, especially after this year of incredible challenge, she just threw away her seeing eye stick when she said put her troubles away, and she just threw it to the ground as part of the music video she's doing. It's so cool. Beautiful little story. Very cool. Reggae Belletti, guys.
Go, Tess.
It don't matter who you are or what you look like.
Woo!
Reggae music give everyone a good vibe. Black, white, yellow, or purple, nobody
Our crew is getting like burnt out. Like we've been filming today since 2 p.m. So like we just got our second win. And earlier today we shot at the Bethesda fountain.
I'm putting the microphone near you so that way
Oh
the
yeah.
crowd can hear you.
So I'm filming a music video. We're filming a music video out here. And earlier today we shot at the Bethesda fountain, and I got to.
That's in Central Park, guys.
Oh, yeah, sorry. We shot at the Bethesda fountain in Central Park, and I got to do probably one of the coolest things I've ever done. I was sitting on the rim of the fountain, and I got to jump down the step and dance with my cane and feel confident as a woman with disabilities. So to all those people that may be struggling, I just want to tell you that no dream is unattainable.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. There is nothing more to say after that. That is absolutely the case.
Actually, I want to do one of Mar facing this direction.
Wow. Powerful woman there.
Where do I go?
Right in front of me.
Okay.
That's right, Diana. It's just a question of how long and how hard you're able and willing to work. Doesn't change the fact that it's not an even playing field. It's easier for white men than for black women, or white people over people of minority, disposition, or there's all those inequalities that exist there. But no dream is unattainable. It's definitely the case. Here are the lights coming on in New York. ESB in the distance is lit up now. I'll give a quick spin around. Catch one more view north, up the Hudson. The Good Ship Frying Pan, by the way, guys, it's now, they have like a barge and bar, restaurants and drinks out there usually, so. And Rebecca, yeah, we're gonna come back again around. One last look over there at the sunset. We are now post-sunset. Got a fair amount of cloud cover.
Alright, I think we're good.
Got a bar or a sea streak there.
Up top, up top, up top, up top. Yes.
And the music makers, I'm sorry, just finished. They just wrapped. All right. Thank you guys for letting me share this with my audience. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful evening, okay? Take care. We're looking over at Chelsea Piers right now. Everything from mini golf courses to bowling alleys to trampoline. What's it called?
Struggling now.
Grab things as you go. They have trapeze lessons over there. It's gotten late for me, and not late necessarily. Maybe it's late for us. Maybe it's not late for us. But out of LaGuardia Airport, named after one of New York's greatest mayors. I need to be at the airport at 5 a.m. That's early, and that means leaving at like 4 a.m., which means getting up at 3:30 a.m., which means I need to go to bed 30 minutes ago to get my beauty sleep. Thank you very much, Rebecca. Appreciate it. And thanks for anyone else who enjoyed. Diana, Jill, Jim. Always a pleasure, guys. Always a pleasure. And I will see you many times over the week to come. We've got a lot of live streaming, daily live streaming for a little while, as we explore the US West. It's going to be very exciting. Thank you, Palmyra. I will. Flying is one of the safest things you can do, to be honest, guys. So, and if you happen to find yourself in any of the cities that I'll be passing through, which are, once again, San Antonio, Marfa, Tombstone, Tucson, Phoenix, and Las Vegas, or any city along that route, then give a shout. And don't hesitate to recommend something that is worth showing people to me. So I will divert and make sure that we get to show people cool stuff. So, Jill, I'm going to be reaching out to you very shortly because I need your connect. So, all right. Goodbye, guys. York says, goodbye. Thanks for coming to the West Side Highway. New York wants to say goodbye too. It's not the most interesting part of New York, but it's what it is. All right, guys. As they say in the movies, hasta mañana.